What is going on, fight fans? Well, just finished with the women's undisputed super middleweight championship fight between Savannah Marshall and Franchon Crews-Dezurn. It was Savannah Marshall by majority decision. I thought that Savannah Marshall actually won the fight by unanimous decision, but hey, I'm not one of the judges and I'm not the one scoring the fight. Now, if you watch my preview video, I said that this was a 50-50 fight, and I actually stayed in the middle because I thought that depending on how things swung one way or another would determine the fight. So I actually didn't pick a winner for this fight. But Savannah Marshall wins, and she is now the undisputed super middleweight champion. Let's start with the pros and the cons. Let's start with Crews-Dezurn. The pros would be, I give her credit for going overseas, going to another country and putting all of your belts on the line. Number two, I give her credit for her left hook when she did land it. But that brings me now to the cons. I said in my preview video that Franchon usually comes, she looks good when she gets on the scales at 168, but she always comes into the fight and she looks heavy. And this was one of those times. I thought that she looked heavy. I thought that she looked sluggish. I did not like all the leaning in she was doing, and I knew before this fight started that this fight that there would be a lot of holding in this fight, based on the fact that Savannah Marshall, with her herky-jerky style, she usually leans in with her left elbow, and Crews-Dezurn usually leans forward. That usually makes for the fact that fighters are going to get tied up, and a lot of that happened. Franchon did a lot of leaning forward. I did not like the fact that when she swung hard with her right hand, her right foot was coming off the canvas, which means that she was off balance. She looked tired to me by the fifth round, and I didn't like the fact that when she did land her left hook, like that beautiful one she landed in the sixth round, she never followed it up with anything. And I didn't like the fact that she was pushing her jab instead of snapping her jab. As far as Savannah Marshall goes, the pros would be she stuck to her style. She boxed. You saw a lot of upper body movement, and you saw some foot movement. I like the fact that when she would land a right hand, she would dip to her left and immediately duck under Crews-Dezurn's right hand. As for the cons for Savannah, I did not like the fact that she didn't keep her distance. There was a particular distance, and if you watch the fight, you know what I'm talking about, where she could have easily controlled the fight, but instead she was leaning and going inside and allowing herself to get tied up. Let's talk about the fight. It was a fairly entertaining fight. It was a whole lot of holding, as I said already. I think that Savannah could have won the fight a lot easier if she would have used her jab and if she would have stayed at that range. The range I'm talking about is the range where her snapping jab was hitting Crews-Dezurn and she could follow it up with the right hand. But instead, she was allowing herself to smother her own punches by coming inside. Crews-Dezurn did... I'm not going to say she did exactly what I thought she would do, but she did fight better than she did in her last fight. I was pretty critical of her in her last fight, but I thought that she fought better. It seemed that she had a game plan to get in there and box, but the problem is that she got sluggish way too early. Like I said, by the fifth round, in my opinion, she looked gassed. Even when they were announcing the winner, she was still breathing pretty heavy, and it was almost 5 minutes after the final bell. There was no knockdowns in this fight, and to me, there was no threats of knockdowns. Each woman hit the other one very hard, but no one went down other than from a few wrestling moves. But anyhow, we get to the end of the fight. Savannah Marshall wins, so now we talk about what happens for here. Let's talk about Crews-Dezurn. The first thing I want to see her do is I would love to see her get in better shape. If you see her when she's outside of the ring, she always appears to be in good shape. It's just something about the night of the fight. She always appears to be she's not as in shape. So what I'm thinking is that I know that the women's divisions are very thin at light heavyweight on up, and there's really not a real heavyweight division in the women's game. But I think that if there's fights at light heavyweight, Crews-Dezurn may do a little bit better there. I don't know if she's struggling to make 168, and when she does, she kind of blows up a little bit the night of the fight. But I think that she's a better fighter than people give her credit for. I just think she needs some more discipline, and she definitely needs some some more cardio to help her stay, you know, not run out of gas, because we know that she has heavy hands, she can hit, but she just runs out of gas too soon. But I think that we'll see her again, and I would like to see her again. As for Savannah Marshall, we know that the pot of gold is Claressa Shields in the rematch. They talked about Green, that she could be a possibility. Now Marshall's trainer said something about, you know, he thinks Savannah's the best fighter in the world, and the rematch with Shields, if it happens, would take place at super middleweight. Here's the truth, people. We saw the fight last year. Claressa Shields won the fight, so she's going to get to call the shots. She's going to get to say if the fight is over here in America and if they're going to fight at 168 or 160. She's the one who's going to make that decision. To be very honest with you, after what I saw today, as good of a fighter as Savannah is, even in the rematch, I don't see her beating Shields. I just don't see it happening. I think she may fare better, but I think that it's going to be the same outcome. So I wouldn't mind maybe seeing her fight Green, and let's see what happens from there. All right, fight fans, if you saw the fight, tell me what you thought about it. Who did you pick to win? Were you entertained, and what do you want to see next? If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so we can keep talking boxing. Other than that, that's all I've got. Holla at y'all later.